day, everyone. This is Pilot Mules, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at lasers in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
And there, Drac. How's everything going over in Barovia?
You know, it has been a week. We've had gnome uprisings that I had to quell. You know, I took care of those.
Oh, you took care of the gnomes?
I took care of the gnomes. We had a...
No Mageddon, then?
No Mageddon, thankfully.
All right.
They tried, but thankfully we nipped that in the bud real quick.
Okay.
We had a rare sighting in Barovia.
Yeah?
The rare Windy Mark made an appearance.
You mean there's an air elemental there?
No. This is a very rare Wendigo. Legends tell.
Oh, Wendigo.
There's only 3 of them.
Oh.
And one was spotted. And that's kind of what got the gnomes all in an upheaval. But anyway, things are better now in Barovia. I've calmed all that. We'll see if the Windy Mark makes another appearance. We'll see.
All right. Well, let us hope that things stay calm and that the winds behave themselves. Not much chance, huh?
Probably not, no.
All right, then let's enter the game news where we had update 66, and I believe that brought in a Dragon Lord or something like that.
The Dragon Lord is here. Not just the Dragon Lord. The anniversary is here, too.
Ooh.
A lot of stuff got brought in with Update 66. Yeah, we kind of touched on it a little bit. We teased it back when we were getting some Lamania previews, and we didn't talk about it much because we knew we were going to talk about it proper when it's on the servers, and it's on the servers now. This did release on Wednesday, February the 28th. That's right. It's the Year of the Dragon. It has arrived. The first gift is the Dragon Lord. We talked about this last week on the episode. They're celebrating 50 years of Dungeons and Dragons with giveaways every month. This month, it is the new fighter archetype is available. The Dragon Lord fighter. They forego the use of shields to focus on offensive tactical combat mixed with potent draconic abilities. They empower and protect allies with auras while destroying foes with the roar of the dragon. We'll go over a little bit more about the Dragon Lord in a moment. But now through March 26th, all players can acquire the Dragon Lord for free. All you need to do is hop in game, visit the Dragon Exthriel in the Eberron Hall of Heroes, talk to him. Done. You have the Dragon Lord on your account. The Dragon Lord is going to continue to be free to VIPs after March 26th. But just remember, if you are not a VIP, go ahead and speak to the NPC to get it locked in on your account. Even if you are a VIP, just do it anyway.
Just to make sure, just in case it lapses or anything like that.
Indeed, yep. So that way you'll have it locked. I mean, it's free, so you might as well go get it, right?
Okay.
And then we have that little thing called the anniversary event. It's 18th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons Online. Our little DDO has turned 18.
Oh, okay. It can vote now.
It can vote. It can depend what state you're on. Like here in Indiana, it can buy a lottery ticket. Ooh.
Oh, okay. That's the age in Indiana.
I'm sure that varies by states, but I'm just saying here, DDO, go buy yourself a lottery ticket. Of course, the anniversary event has returned to House Fjarlin, and that's going to run through March 12th. Last year's anniversary gift, the Dark Armor Cosmetic, has been added to the list of anniversary event rewards. Additionally, some adjustments have been made to the quest to reflect the prior year and future hints. Find the portal to the anniversary event, as always, outside of the House Fjarlin chapter house. I have not ran the event yet this year, have not read anything as to spoil it, so I'm interested to go in and see it once and see what they've added and what future hints they're hinting about. See what I did there? Anyway. I know right. you don't jump up and down about the anniversary event. I know because we hardly ever run it together.
Well, yeah, there is that. I guess I'm going to have to have a look at this Dragon Lord. So,
I was going to ask you about that too.
well, I'll have to go and try and see whether I play 10 minutes with and say, okay, next, or if it's a what Storm Singer?
Yeah, that's I was going to say maybe it's going to be the new Storm Singer for you.
Right.
Because if you didn't know, our Pine Leaf here has kind of got addicted to Storm Singers here of late. Yeah, just a few. I mean, people talk about me and my Rangers and my Rogues. I think you're giving me a run for the money with that, sir. But yeah, the Dragon Lord is the based on the Dragon Lord Prestige class that is from 3.5's Dragon Magic book, which I can kind of sort of see in my shelf over there. It's over there somewhere in the 3.5 section. As we said, their models, their tactics after the ferocity. That is a big word of dragons.
Ferocity?
Yeah, sure, that word too. Dragons to demoralize and subdue their enemies. They will excel in crowd control, defense, and draconic power. The Ravenger is what you get when you go into your class trees for this. This is going to be a modified version of the Barbarian's Ravenger tree. It does not give or rely on rage, though, because you're not a barbarian. So who needs rage besides those crazy barbs? You cannot spend points in both this tree and the Barbarian's version, so keep that in mind if you were thinking, hey, I'll do a weird Barbarian Dragon Lord combo. No, you will not. Well, I mean, I guess you can. You just can't do Ravager at the same time. But I mean, technically, I guess you could make a Dragon Lord Barbarian if you wanted to. But anyway.
Well, if you wanted a barbarian that did not rely on rage.
Hey, there you go. Which would be a weird barbarian to play, but okay. I mean, that could probably... That could be fun, maybe, because it's not your typical barb, but sure. The class features compared to the based fighter is going to be a lot in the Kensai and the Vanguard trees. Dragon Lords do not innately get shield proficiency. With that being said, you do have bonus feats that you could take to get shield proficiency. So if you really like sword and board, you can do it. You're just going to have to spend a little points and play with the trees to get into a shield proficiency. So keep that in mind. I would probably, if I would make one of these, which I really, to be honest, have no desire to, because I don't really like to melee that much, other than with my rogues, but that's a different type of melee to me. I would go two-hand fighting all the way, is what I would do. Just like instantly two-hand fighter, and you could probably be a death-dealing machine, I would assume. We'll see, though. Instead of a fighter bonus feats at levels 1, 8, and 16, you can take the Draconic Aura feat. And those are a little different on each one. We'll just talk about it briefly. There is like very detailed patch notes on this, and I don't really understand all of this because I have not looked at this yet. I'm just going to be honest. So we'll vaguely go over this, but if you would like us to go in depth about this, let us know. I will find somebody that can do that because it's not me, and I'm guessing it's not Pine Leaf right now either. I mean,
not.
Yeah, I gotta say not to, like put words in your mouth, but I'm like, I think you're like me. You're like, okay, yeah, this looks cool, but no. So at level 1 is the basic aura. It's you and your allies close to get a +2 morale bonus. I really need to learn to talk to do a podcast, Gino. A +2 morale bonus to attack rolls. You and your allies get a +2 morale bonus to saving throws, and then a +2 morale bonus to tactical feat DCs. And then at level 8, that changes to a +3 for damage, +3 to PRR, and then +3 to MRR. And then at 16, it goes to +4 for all the above. Also in the tree as well, you get a +4 universal spell power. And I should point out that these are different ones that you can pick all three of those. There's different They're basically named after dragons, so you have to pick what you want, and then you can't, to my knowledge, you can't get all three of these. You have to pick. So, like, if your build is really going to depend on PRR, you will take that one, and then you'll get the +3 PRR. And that's at level 16. And then, as I said, this highlights the Ravager tree. And then it's similar to the Barbarian tree with a couple exceptions. All abilities that do scale with the Barbarian level instead scale with Dragon Lord levels, which, makes sense. Dragonlord Ravager's max HP and healing application bonuses from the cores in the tree have been reduced by 50% to better balance with their access to the Stalwart Defender tree. So on and so forth. We're not going to go over this because, like I said, there is so much in this. You can, in the tree, though, you have what's called the Soul of the Dragon. This is where you can get a +1 to your tactical feat DCs, and then you can pick red, white, blue, black, or green. Of course, fire, cold, electric, acid, poison. So whichever type of dragon you want to be, you can pick that. Like I said, there's so much in this tree. Anything else you want to point out on this? Like I said, if anybody wants to us to go in depth about this, let us know. I can find somebody, I'm sure, that can make sense of this. It's just not me. Sorry.
It's just a lot to process.
It is. Yeah. It's. I think this is going to be a good tree if you really like to crunch build a melee character. To me, it looks like this is one of those trees for melees you are just going to have a grand time with. It'll be interesting if you actually roll one up to see what you think, because I know you do tend to play. You do melee a lot more than I do. Like I said, I do on my straight rogues. Like most of my rangers now, I've turned into dark hunters. So,
right.
Even though that's still technically a rogue, I still use bow. So when I'm playing my straight up rogue, then I'm melee and I'm usually dagger.
Yeah, but usually they're dead before they realize you hit them.
Exactly. That's why I love my rogues.
I'm trying to figure out how these things. I'm just trying to figure out how does it interact if you were Dragonkin Dragonlord.
That is a good question. I think
that's what I'm going to experiment with.
Like, I know, and my guess is that's what most people are going to do. Most people are going to roll up a Dragon Lord. It's going to be a Dragon Lord, which makes sense.
To really.
Yeah, well, of course, because I mean that makes sense.
Then the question is, okay, do you use the same element or a different element? I guess different people have it different ways.
That's true. I only have one Dragonborn. I don't even remember what class he is.
That's it. They're called Dragon. Yeah. That's the thing is because there are some games where they have the term Dragonkin that I forget. It's called
Dragonborn. I can't remember what class he is because I don't play much, but I know he is definitely red fire. I know that for sure.
Yeah. Oh, but the only place in the patch notes where Dragonborn comes up is says Dragonborn's dragon breath now functions properly when moving.
There you go.
Which is a bug fix that's not related to the new tree.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Well, I guess they made sense because they're like, hey, there's going to be a lot of people breathing, so we need to get on that right now.
Yes.
So also, along with the new Dragon Lord, they did implement the area of effect range attack system, which I, for one, cannot wait to get on live to see this because I did not test this on Lamania at all. What this is now when a projectile using an area of effect range attack collides with something, instead of dealing your weapon damage and effects to that target directly, that enemy and all nearby enemies in a small area are hit with your full weapon damage and effects as if they were also hit by the projectile. So it's really a true AoE. attack.
Okay,
No.
so now it's more like that you fired a whole bunch of arrows all at the same time.
Right.
They're all falling down from the sky, and that's what's causing the area effect.
Right. And there's a few notes about this. Improved precise shot does not work on these attacks. If improved precise shot is on when you perform an AoE ranged attack, IPS's ability to pass through enemies simply does not work on that shot, and then resumes working on other shots like normal.
Well, I mean, because if you're firing a shotgun, you don't expect to have the advantages of a single armor-piercing bullet.
Exactly. It makes sense to me why that, because, that's the way, exactly. Like, no, of course that's not going to work. AoE ranged attacks are always fired as a single shot, regardless of weapon type. They are doing this to prevent multi-shot range styles from becoming disproportionately strong compared to single-shot styles with those changes. AoE ranged attacks tend to have a lower percent relative to melee attacks and non-AoE ranged attacks, also for balanced reasons. And then so they've changed a few things with this. If you play a Horizon Walker, they've done some changes to Scattershot. It now fires only one arrow and reads AoE ranged bow attack. Expend one charge to take a shot with a +1 critical threat range and a critical multiplier that shatters on impact, dealing your attack damage to all enemies in a small area around the enemy that is hit. 2-second cooldown. The feat gives 3 charges. You gain 1 charge every 12 seconds. You don't use Scattershot or Mini-Shot. Requires a longbow or shortbow to use. Shares charges and cooldown with Mini-Shot. And then an Artificer Battle Engineer Shatter Defenses ranged. That is now turned into an AoE attack. Unlike other ranged AoEs, this ability fires as many crossbow bolts as your crossbow will allow. Which that's kind of cool. I'm not a big crossbow user, but that's pretty cool, though. Paladin Knight of the Chalice Exalted Shot is now an AoE. The ability now deals plus 10% damage. It was 30%. Puts it half of the melee version. So, a little bit of a nerf, I guess, but maybe slightly. Then the Ranger Elven Arcane Archer Tree, Inferno Shot, is now an AoE, and that now deals plus 10% damage. It was 30. Final Strike, the ability is now an AoE and reads AoE ranged archery attack, plus 20% damage. Enemies hit takes 7 stacks of vulnerability, costs 5 spell points, cooldown 18 seconds, replacing all previous functionality. I can't wait to see how that works, because I do use Final Strike a lot. And then the Ranger Deepwood Stalker, the Headshot, it has now been renamed to Devastating Shot, and its melee counterpart is now Critical Strike. Of course, like everything else, it's an AoE. It does 25% damage. It was 50. And so on and so forth. Fate Singer had some changes too. Basically, they've just... it looks like everything in one of the trees they have changed just to make them into a AoE. Like in Shadow Dancer, Shadow Strike range, that is now an AoE. Shrouded Champion Pin is now an AoE, and so forth. So we'll have links to the show notes if you want to go over all this as well.
Looks like the no bar trees changed, but that's...
Yeah, well...
I was looking for storms, if anything affected Storm Singers. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but do you... I mean, I know you personally don't do much range. I mean, I guess you could use ranged on a bard if you wanted to.
Actually, see, on the Storm Singer, I sort of do a mixture of it. It's just, I think when with you, I'm more likely to be melee.
I guess that's what I know just from when I'm playing with you. You're always in melee on your Storm Singer, so that's why,
But I do mix, because I also do mix in some spells in there.
Right. Another big thing in this patch. This was a pretty big patch, actually, for just being, just a regular patch. Epic Destinies were refreshed. We kind of talked about this a little bit, too, when they were on Lamania. Once again, some of this is over my head. Like, I get some of it, and then some of it I'm like, huh? So if you want us to go over this in depth, once again, let me know. I will get somebody that can, because I don't want to like talk about this and then just make stuff up.
And I guess you've already guessed that I don't know all that much about it.
Right. And then, because, like, to be fair, I've only been playing around in Epic Destinies for maybe about a year now is when I really started looking at them and taking them seriously. So, yeah, we will be happy to talk about this. If you want, just drop us a note at podcast@ddoplayers.com, and I will get somebody. I have a couple of people in mind, actually, that could probably help us with this. So if you want us to go in depth on this, because it's pretty in depth, we will be happy to talk about that. But wait, as they say, there's more.
There's more.
And the most controversial one is coming up.
Oh?
Because according to a few people on the forums, DDO is now over. But
what has changed so violently that they're saying DDO is over?
Oh, we'll get that. We'll get there in a second. The Tavern system update, that is it. That is actually why people are like, you have updated the Taverns. DDO is now over. No, I'm kidding.
It's over?
I'm kidding. Totally kidding.
You were engaging in some hyperbole there.
Yes,
okay.
Totally kidding. Just because
I was really confused because I saw what was coming up.
Just because this is like, okay, this is kind of cool, but it's not going to change that much. But yeah, they did kind of update the Taverns. Poor Pine Leap. I have him so confused. The Marketplace Taverns Keepers now have been updated to have quest list and make suggestions similar to the Tavern Keepers in the Harbor. So if you're familiar, when you first started the game way back when, you go in the harbors, the Tavern Keepers kind of point you. It's like, hey, go talk to him. He's got some quests. He can, blah, blah, blah. So now all the Tavern Keepers in the Marketplace will do that as well. There is now a new public quest in the harbor to go talk to Baudry Cartman for low-level players, which most of us know to do that whole quest line when you first start. But if you were a brand new player, you might not know that. And now it's going to be a quest that you're going to get when you start. You go in, you're going to see that quest. You're going to go talk to Baudry, and then you're going to start that whole quest line, which is a very good quest line to do because you get all your bags for free and all of that. So,
okay.
The quest and explosive situation has been updated. The quest is now level 4, and it supports all difficulties and quest party sizes. The XP has also been increased. Monsters has been updated with a twist on the story. It's now introducing a new criminal group.
A new criminal group? Completely new to DDO or a new one to that particular instance?
I am assuming new to DDO because I think they're working in a new story. This is going to be a new storyline they're working in.
Okay.
Just from other things that I have seen and they have dropped little hints about. I do believe there's going to be a new storyline coming up.
Okay. Maybe I better go back to that location and have a check with that particular.
Yeah, I definitely want to run these to see how these have changed. Sunken Sewer is now level 3. XP is also increased, and once again, monsters have been slightly tweaked, and the quests bosses have been updated to a new level. So harder bosses in the Sunken Sewer. So yeah, I'm interested to run these now. And then Missing in Action, once again, that is now level 3. More XP, monsters tweaked slightly, and the bosses are a new level.
See, I'm trying to think. Missing in Action. That one is... trying to remember which one that one is. Let's see. That's the... Okay. Yeah. I can't remember that particular one is... Oh, it was... Oh, I think that's one where you... Is that the one where you have to have this very, very difficult down jump at the beginning of it, is it? Or...
Yes.
Oh, okay. No wonder. I think I avoid that quest.
You are sent in to find a lost party who went into the sewers. Yeah.
All right.
I actually like that quest. That's actually one of my favorite lower level quests, to be honest. So now let's talk about why DDO is over, Pine Leaf.
Oh, the next one's the real
Yes.
one.
This is the end of DDO. It's been nice. I don't know why we're recording this podcast, because there's going to be no point in going on, because the game is just crap now. There's no point. Yeah, they have redone tumbling, and people are losing their ever-loving minds over this.
This little ability here that I have not figured out a thing to do with it for the last 18 years.
I could not tell you the last time I think every now and again on one of my rogues, I might tumble to avoid an attack, or maybe I'll try to tumble through a trap. If it's like one of the traps you have to run through and the box is on the other side, I might do that, but I do not use tumble at all. Apparently, there was people, their whole freaking gameplay revolved around tumble, and they're losing their minds.
Oh, because now you're only supposed to do it once every 8 seconds.
Right. You can't just keep doing it. Because have you ever, I know I've seen it, and it drove me insane, where people were just running. Instead of running, they just tumbled around because it was apparently faster than running. It happened all the time. I saw it constantly, and it drove me insane. It was like one of my biggest pet peeves.
Oh, that's probably is A, it was annoying, and B, it probably takes a lot more resources than some of the others.
So let's talk about this. Yeah, so tumbling is now limited by charges. If you don't have at least one tumble charge, you cannot tumble. By default, you get 2 maximum tumble charges. 1 tumble charge returns every 8 seconds.
Boy, so if you use it as a reasonable level, this is not going to affect you at all.
Right. And then I know a lot of people, like the major thing people are saying, I guess what a lot of people did with it, and I would have to talk to, I know some of the people that I play with do play higher level bards. I don't know if they in particular did this or not, but when they were giving bard buffs to the group and to players, apparently if you tumbled, it did something to where your buffs would go on quicker, and there you wouldn't have to sit through the whole like mechanic of you doing the buff, like playing the buff, doing the buff. I guess tumble helped that.
So they're exploiting it then.
I mean, I guess in a way it's not really an exploit, but that's, I think, what the major people are complaining about. So certain feats and abilities will now boost your maximum tumble charges and quicken their rate of return. Thief Acrobat's third core Tumbler now grants you +1 maximum tumble charge. The mobility feat now grants +1 maximum tumble charge as well. You may view your tumble charges by holding your block key. Default is the left shift. Each green pip displayed now represents 1 of your tumble charges. Tumble will now grant you defensive benefits during part of the tumble animation. These bonuses only apply if you're actually tumbling. The shuffle half step will not trigger these bonuses.
Oh yeah, the block key. That's the other thing I always forget about.
Yeah, I don't use block key much. To be honest, usually the main thing I use it for is to get off my horse. But yeah, I don't know. I have a weird play style, so I'm sure there's like a lot of people that are like, you people don't tumble? You people don't block? What is wrong with you? I'm like,
you're not playing the right game.
Right, exactly. It's just how I play, man. I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, so to me, okay, they changed tumbling since I mean, maybe this is his biggest deal. I was kind of making a joke about it, earlier, but there are a lot of people that are really upset about this. So, I mean, I guess if that was your play style, I could see why you would be upset, but I'm sure you can figure out a way to tweak your play style and just embrace this new change and go on, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, to me, this doesn't affect me at all. So I'm cool, but okay. Then we have some gameplay and balance changes. Not much major in here. Sacred Fist 12 is now a prerequisite for the feats Epic Martial Arts and Vorpal Strikes. Knight of the Chalice's Exalted Cleave now deals plus 20 damage. Previously it did 10%. Morgrave University's Tier 4 Favor reward is now available from Professor Fordoa in Sharn. So if you've done a lot of those quests and you've actually built your favor up, you can now go get your Tier 4 favor. This one kind of made me laugh, though. There is now a lever that will reset the light step puzzle in Grand Theft Orient. Okay. I don't remember that quest, so I don't remember if that's a good thing to have that reset or not.
Grand Theft Orient, I remember, that's one where you are, where you have all that jumping around in the chandeliers.
Oh, okay. That's the quest. All right. I knew that name sounded familiar. I know I've done the quest a couple of times, but I didn't. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm trying to remember the light step puzzle, though. It's
might be that one where.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Okay, now I remember.
Yeah, that one where it, like, when we did it, I know it took you a second to figure it out, but you always figure it out because, you know. Yeah. As we all know, when I'm playing with Pine Leaf, I'm like, "Oh, puzzle, you're up," and then I go get a beer. That's just what I do. That's my play style. Pine Leaf does puzzles. I drink. You know. Okay. Arcade Archer's Arrow of Slaying now deals 250% damage and 25 flat damage, which before crits and scaling, as the current damage bonus is now. I'm excited to kind of check that one out too. That's really about it. That's the major gameplay and balance changes. We did have some bug fixes. The quest Dread Sea Scrolls is now properly shareable. So
I'm sure that was a concern for a huge number of people.
Apparently you couldn't share that, but now you can share it, so there's a much rejoicing. Yay. Monty Python joke for those that didn't know. Select an alignment during character creation no longer allows you to click through the window to the create button accidentally. Okay, that's probably a good thing. Because if you're just scrolling to select an alignment and all of a sudden, hey, your character is created, and you're like, wait, what? So yeah, that's a good thing. This is, I think, the funniest one of the. There has been some pretty funny patch notes in the past, but this, I think, is probably hands down my favorite patch note of all time. Yeah. Annabella Jarasco no longer robs people.
I am trying to remember what was she doing.
I have no idea. Apparently, she was robbing you when you talked to her. You're talking to her, you get a quest from her, and she's like, "Ooh, that's a nice bow. I think I'll take that." Yeah, I don't know. That's what I picture in my head, which is kind of awesome, actually. You know, as playing a rogue mainly, I'm like, "Yeah, you go, girl, you go." So, Death Salve now correctly turns all your allies undead. That's helpful. Hirelings can now turn into undead our plants properly if they desire to do so. So, sure.
If they
you know, I mean, maybe
so it's up to the hireling to decide then?
You know, maybe your hireling just becomes sentient. He's like, you know what? I'm a plant now. So there we go. Or it's like, hey, I identify as undead. You shall treat me as such. And I'm like, okay, you are now undead. You got it. Oh my, there's quite a few other things in here. Nothing really major that I see. Once again, we'll link over to all of the patch notes. A lot of patch notes in this. So go over in the show notes and it'll take you over to DDO.com and you can read all of this fun stuff for yourself.
Let's see. Trying to create a Dragon Lord character in character creation before claiming Dragon Lord for free with the NPC displays a Get Now button that takes you to the DDO store instead of the Year as a Dragon reminder.
Which is a problem because it's not yet available in the store. So, yeah. So go talk and get it for free.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or did they fix that? I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out.
Yes, because I heard that there were one or two little issues that came up quickly.
Just a few. That's right. We got another patch today. Breaking news. As we record this patch is hot off the proverbial presses and on the servers now. This is 66.0.1. Clicking the main menu button inside of the game should no longer provoke an intermittent game crash. That was the big thing. Apparently, since 66, once you were in game and you went into you click down on the dragon and then you can go into the main menu. Apparently, that was crashing some people's systems. It wasn't all the time. It wasn't everybody's, but apparently that is fixed now, so you don't have to worry about that. I can see why that would get really, really old really quick if that was the case. But then again, why are you going into the main menu so much? That would be my other. Well, I guess if you're going in there to get like your Adventure Compendium or something like that, I guess.
Main reason why because this was, I got the impression that when the scenarios that was causing likely happening, it was the options menu. And
okay.
On the options menu, I often go into that because if I want to unlock or lock my hotkeys or whatever those things, my tool, my hot bars, whatever you call those little bars that you
hot bars.
Yeah, which has about 6 billion skills on them, and I have trouble keeping them together.
Gaia. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Well, anyway, that's fixed now. Yeah. The other thing was Daunting Roar. It should no longer paralyze party members nor yourself. Handy.
Oh, that's good.
Handy. If I was running with somebody doing that, I'd be like, don't you dare do that roar right now. Yeah, okay, that's handy. And then quest taken from the quest givers inside of the Phoenix Tavern. See the previous discussion that we had. Should now properly show you the arrow and map note guidance to get you to the quest, which is also very handy. Tooltips for the Epic Destiny cores that grant range power will now properly say they grant +5 range power. Arcane Archer's Elemental Inferno is now named correctly. They fixed an issue where the last charge of Tumble could get interrupted prematurely.
Oops.
Oops, indeed. And then we got a little fixie for a little oopsie, you're bad. We have corrected a bug that could allow players to put more than one curse from the deck of many treasures onto an item. Characters that do have more than one curse on a particular item have had those curses removed, and they are replaced with a Curse of the Overloaded. This must be removed with a Card of Cursed Cleansing before any new curses can be applied.
Ooh, so that's a bit of a punishment for anyone who...
Wah, wah.
I think that's the first time I recall hearing an exploit which they had an in-game punishment for the players.
Yeah, and I did see people that were, which I don't know exactly how this was done, so don't ask me. I don't exploit like this, so I don't know anything how this was done. But some people were saying, hey, what if this accidentally happened, we're going to get punished too. And I'm kind of thinking, how does one accidentally get 2 curses on an item? Because the system is set up to only put 1.
Well, I don't even know how to get 1 curse on an item, so
because it's like, it's higher level stuff. You have to run the one quest, and then you get cards, and then you make the deck of many curses, and then So, but it's designed to where it only goes one curse goes on an item, but somehow there was a way to do multiple curses. So I don't know, but I did see some people in the forums talking about, hey, well, it's not fair that this just kind of accidentally happened to me, and now I have to get one of these cards of cleansing that are impossible to get because the drop rate is like 0.0%. But I don't see how this could accidentally happen. I mean, maybe it could. I don't know. So yeah,
I don't know. That's where, like in the other game, where right after their second expansion, there was a exploit that someone discovered that allowed you to get many. There's this currency called skirmish marks, and that allowed you to exploit one of the skirmishes so that you could get huge numbers of marks. I'm talking about 1 million marks in a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is technically impossible to do if you're playing legally or correctly.
Yeah, it was completely impossible, and you had to go out of your way in order to do stuff like this, and there were bans made for it. But you could see that there were certain people on one of the servers that had all these people in the leaderboard. They had a leaderboard in the early days of this, I think.
Oh, okay.
And who had several millions of marks on there, and it took me years to get 1,000,000 marks on my character, and I'm notorious for playing huge numbers of skirmishes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you could just imagine that people say, "No, how would I know if I was doing something wrong?" Well, the fact that you had 10,000
Right,
more
exactly.
marks than anyone else on the server.
Exactly. The fact that it's not humanly possible to have as many as you have, maybe that's a slight hint. Yeah, it could be.
That you had to do something very counterintuitive and that is obviously not intended in order for it to happen.
Right.
It's a hint.
Oh, people, I tell ya. So there you go. There is our update 66 and 66.0.1.
All right, then that's it for the update. So let's then look at what's happening at PAX East, where it looks like they are having a gathering of the Dragon Folk.
There is a lot happening at PAX East. Dungeons & Dragons Online, of course, is headed back to PAX East, which makes sense because it's kind of in their backyard. Yeah. So it's makes sense that they go there because it's easy. They basically, hey, let's just drive across town and let's go. Okay, cool. On Thursday, March 21st, DDO will be giving a presentation on making creatures in Dungeons & Dragons Online. And then afterwards, they're having a big party at the Harpoon Brewery. Details for the crafting creatures from Sketch to Scare panel. This is taking place Thursday, March 21st at 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern. That is in the Dragonfly Theater at PAX East.
Most appropriate name.
Indeed, yes. I do believe this is the same theater that the last year's panel was held to, if I remember right. I think it was the same theater. Note, you must have a PAX badge to attend this. So keep that in mind. I suppose if you're in the Boston area, you could just get a one-day badge if you wanted to go see this. The details on this panel, they say, how much does a smack from a kobold actually hurt? I mean, it's just a kobold, so probably not much, but, you know. How do you shape the bite of a dragon that is 5 times your size? The devs of Standing Stone Games are giving you a peek behind the curtain of our developmental process to show you how we breathe life into the monsters of one of the world's most complex and enduring MMOs, Dungeons & Dragons Online. From building of the initial stats to the final menacing growl, the seasoned team of design gurus, animation wizards, and design architects, that is a mouthful, will give you an all-access pass into the baking of the monsters you love to fight. Plus, they're going to hand the reins over to you. The live audience will have the opportunity to vote and influence the very creatures that stalk dungeons in some future updates. So join us for a monstrous adventure into the into the heart of game creation.
Oh, last time they did that, they wound up with a dungeon where a cat thought it was a dragon.
Indeed. So expect something weird to happen, I am sure. And I know that Cordovan did say they are not sure if PAX is going to stream this. Last year, they streamed the presentation. They're not sure if this one's going to be live streamed or not, but they are going to record it, and they plan to release it themselves if that is the case. So anybody that's not available to go to PAX East will be able to view this at a later date. They're going to make sure of that.
Okay.
So then after that, we have the community meetup. If you're in the Boston area at the Harpoon Boston Brewery, PAX badge is not required for this as it is off-site. From what I gather, it's not too far from the convention center, so it's a pretty easy walk. The meetup is going to run from 7 to 11 p.m. Eastern on March 21st. There will be an RSVP list coming soon because you must RSVP for this. This is not just for a DDO. It's also going to include a Lotro as well. And then Standing Stone Games is partnering up with Dark Paw Games, who make a little game you might have heard of called EverQuest. Just a small, tiny little game.
It's it's one of the few MMOs that's older than DDO.
Exactly, yes. So, which makes sense because if you didn't know, EverQuest is also a Daybreak game, which Daybreak publishes DDO, so it makes sense they're teaming up with them. So this is going to be an EverQuest DDO Lotro party. So it's going to be probably a pretty cool party. The link to the RSVP will be coming soon. You must RSVP. And once again, no PAX East badge is required because this is an off-site event. But there you go. You can meet the guys from Standing Stone. And also Lotro and EverQuest and all that. And then have fun at PAX if you're going. I'm not, but have fun.
Now, what I find strange is that usually when they have a game name 2 as an MMO, you think that, well, the original is going to disappear very quickly.
It could. You never know.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go into sales because I heard that we actually know what the sales are for this next upcoming week.
We do because, we're actually, I better check to see if I have a fever because we're actually recording at an opportune time to talk to store sales. Ooh. But besides that,
yeah,
we're actually recording 2 weeks in a row. We're going to have episodes weeks back to back, not like an episode and then like a month in between an episode. No, we've got a week between episodes.
Oh,
we need to check to see if I'm feeling okay because this is unheard of with my dumpster fire of a life that it actually worked out this way. But yes, we have store sales we can talk about. They started today. They are running through March 7th. Double points are back, which is always cool. You get twice the bonus points in the DDO store through March the 10th. And of course, you know what's back. It's time. Yeah. The McRib of DDO is back.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ah, yeah. The Autos boxes have returned. Heroic, Epic, and Improved Epic Autos boxes, also known as a McRib of DDO on the show, through March 10th as well. You can store more loot, 20% off character banks, shared banks, deposit box spaces, plaid storage, inventory space, and more. Also select bags. Also running through March the 7th. Weekly coupon is a free Enchanted Repair All kit. Coupon code for that is Repair All Items, all in uppercase. Once again, Repair All Items, uppercase through March 7th. And there is your store sale.
Then, let's then go and see what's coming in from the dungeon. And it looks like whatever it is, they are raiding the dungeon.
I cannot believe it has taken this long for this to happen. We're getting a Tomb Raider RPG.
Ooh.
Which it seems like somebody should have done this a long time ago. But here we are. Crystal Dynamics, of course, they are the video game studio that produces the Tomb Raider games. They have announced an official Tomb Raider RPG. It's called Shadows of Truth. New RPG is going to be developed by Evil Hat Productions. Tomb Raider Shadows of Truth tabletop RPG coming soon. Players will become what they say are truth seekers that seek out artifact. You're not raiding tombs. You're seeking the truth, Pine Leaf. There's a difference.
So you are seeking the truth.
Just seeking the truth.
And the truth happens to be in these tombs.
See, the truth is hidden, and you just have to find it in places. You are a truth seeker. You're seeking out artifacts in effort to prevent their theft. See, you're stopping people from stealing these.
You're like Indiana Jones going, it belongs in a museum?
Sure, exactly. See, you are the good guy, Pine Leaf. You are the good guy. Players are going to race through abandoned tombs, perform depth-defying acts, and try to save ancient knowledge from ending up, of course, in the wrong hands. The game engine runs on a modified D6 dice pool. It's a new take on the Powered by the Apocalypse system. So if you're familiar with that system, it'll be like that, but they are doing some tweaks to it. It features a character creation process that will allow players to build what they are saying are hunters, changed champions, and crafters. Okay, That's really all we know. We don't know a lot about this yet. It is going to come to, well, they say crowdfunding, so I'm not sure if it's going to be Kickstarter or GameFound.
Okay. But it sounds like that they're not even going to get to the point of crowdfunding until 2025.
Exactly. They are working on a playtest version of this, which they said will be coming soon, but they didn't say how you could get it on the playtest. I'm assuming the playtest is going to be free, but I don't know. Once we get more information, we will let you know. But yeah, the expected launch is sometime in 2025. Will go to crowdfunding, but the playtest is coming soon.
All right. Then let's go and see what's coming on the screen. Where Apple TV has announced that they will be bringing us Neuromancer, which is based on the William Gibson book.
This is something else that I'm like, why did it take this long to do this? Like, I cannot believe nobody has done this yet. And yet it's Apple that's doing it. Yeah, Apple is working on a new TV adaptation of William Gibson's acclaimed 1984 cyberpunk words, I'm telling you. Neuromancer, the company announced yesterday as we record this. The new 10-episode drama is going to be created by Graham Ronald and J.D. Dillard. It's going to be a co-production between Skydance Television and Anonymous Content. It's also going to be produced by Drake's Dream Crew Entertainment. I guess if you're familiar with those guys, you know what all that means. I am going to have to look up to see what any of these guys did. But they did say the series is going to follow a damaged top-running super hacker named Case, who is thrust into a web of digital espionage and high-stakes crime with his partner Molly, a razor girl assassin with mirrored eyes, aiming to pull a heist on a corporate dynasty with untold secrets. So if you're familiar with the book, they did say they're going to follow the book as much as they can. Of course, you know how that works. To make good TV, you do have to make some little, let's say, tweaks here and there.
Well, yes, there would have to be a few tweaks here and there.
So if you're not familiar with, I am assuming everybody that is listening to this podcast is familiar with this book, but if for some reason you are not, this is came out in 1994. It's praised as being one of the first and most respected works within the cyberpunk genre. It basically invented this cyberpunk genre. It was one of the very first.
I find it interesting that the ground-setting cyberpunk book came out in 1984, considering the topic of the famous book of that name.
Right. I mean, it's probably not a coincidence if you think about it. This book, it's kind of funny. I will have to go back and read this book. It's been forever since I read this. It familiarized people with the concepts of cyberspace, which William Gibson came up with, which, of course, everybody knows what that is now. Also, virtual reality and AI, which back then that was like unheard of. Everybody's like, that is never going to happen. And, of course, we all know, the world we live in with AI nowadays. But yeah, so this book did a lot for the genre, and I am super excited about this. I cannot wait. There is no time frame on when this will be out, but it is going to be on Apple TV, so you do have to have an Apple TV Plus subscription to watch this. So keep that in mind. We'll let you know once we hear more about this and when it's going to come out. And of course, we'll share the trailer when it comes out and all this. But I'm super excited about this. Big fan of this book. Can't wait for this TV show. It should be cool.
Then let's head into our weekend gaming. And Drac, what have you been up to?
Well, not a lot, actually, because, dumpster fire and all that. I did play one tabletop game this week. That was finally, after all this time, got Dice Throne Adventures to the table. It's been a long time since I've wanted to play this. I've had it for a long time. Finally got it to the table. If you're not familiar with this, it's a dungeon crawler, but instead of the term dungeon, you are doing a portal crawl. You're going through different portals, and you have to jump through this whole portal, which is, you can think of it like a dungeon, but they call it a portal. And you're jumping from portal to portals until you get to the final room in this, and then that is a boss. And then once you defeat the mini boss that is at the end of that portal, then you go into a boss fight. And then after, if you defeat that boss, then you go to another portal crawl and then rinse and repeat. There's like 10 of these that you have to do. It's based on Dice Throne. So if you're familiar with the Dice Throne game, it plays just like Dice Throne. You actually have to have Dice Throne characters. You can't even play this game without owning any set of Dice Throne, because that is the characters that you're using. You're just using the Dice Throne characters and their dice and their cards in the game. So you could and what's nice is you can use any of the characters though. So you could take the Marble people through this if you wanted to. You could take the Season 1 Dice Throne people, Season 2. You can do a mix of them. Like you could have Marble with the Vampire Lord if you want. So you could have like Black Widow and the Vampire Lord, or you could have, whatever. It's up to you. It's and Dice Throne, if you're not familiar with that, it's usually a 2-player battler where you're going player against player, and then you're battling out with dice. It's like a souped up version of Yahtzee, because you're rolling dice, and then if you get 6 of a kind, that is your ultimate power. Which, in Yahtzee, it would be your Yahtzee, but in this, it's your ultimate power. You're basically rolling dice, and you have 3 shots at rolling the dice, so it's like a push your luck mechanic.
All right.
You roll the dice, and then you have, each character has different powers. And then let's say, like, you needed, for example, for one of your powers, you needed, if you're, like, the dice had symbols on them, and you had like a star, a moon, a sun, and a square, let's say, or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. If you get 4 of one kind, that's one of your powers you can use. If you get a small straight, that's one of your powers you can use. If you get a large straight, so on and so forth. So think Yahtzee, but you're trying to match your dice that you're rolling to use the best power that you can use. And just like in Yahtzee, you get 3 rolls. So you roll, you save any dice that you want, and then you roll however many dice again that you want, up to 3 times, and then you're just trying to make the best combo you can. So it's a battling Yahtzee. And this is just, this turns that into, instead of fighting each other, you are taking on all these minions, and then, of course, you're getting treasure and stuff along the way to help you. And then you're eventually trying to get all the way through to the end to battle a mini boss, and then you have to go all the way in and battle a big boss, and then do it all over again like 10 times. So it's like a legacy. I guess not legacy, but it's a campaign is the proper term, because nothing you earn in one portal crawl continues over. You start over every time. So it's a campaign, and then you keep score, and then you're trying to get the best score at the end. So.
Yeah, well, in campaigns you could have things carry over.
Usually
when I think of campaigns. Usually when I think of campaigns, I usually think of things carrying over in some way or another. Legacy is you physically change components.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we just did the first portal crawl, lost horribly. Okay. So hopefully we'll do better next time. Well, the thing about it, okay, the RNG is real, and the RNG sucks so much, which if you're a fan of the show, that is no shock to you.
Yeah,
you always hear me complain about the RNG. Okay, it's real, folks. My friend can attest that I was playing this. When I was rolling for me, I rolled crappily. The worst rolls you could roll. Like, think of all ones, basically. It's just crap.
Well, all ones would be a 5 of a kind.
Oh, no, that's true. I guess that's a bad example in this Yahtzee type game. But anyway, like crap rolls, okay? Like the worst possible rolls you could get. That's what I was rolling. And then when you go into a room and there's a minion in that room, you control that minion, and then you roll the dice for that minion when they're attacking you or they're defending against you. Yeah, every time I would roll for the minion, best rolls possible. Mega damage, like the ultimate, like every time, perfect rolls for the minion. When I rolled, crap. Every time. And my friend is just like, really? Really? And I'm like, yeah, RNG, man. It's real. That's all I can say. So, yeah. So, there you go. That was it. Dice Throne Adventures is all I did.
All right. Then in my week in gaming, begin with the DDO, where my dual level character started adventuring in the Feywild. And then I joined Drac for a little trip into the Temple of Elemental Simply Misunderstood.
Yeah, I actually got him to go, but I didn't get him to go into level 2, though.
No. If he got me to go into level 2, into the second part of it, we would not have finished it, because it's the Zegamoid fight that you have to beat the other 4.
We got done, and I'm like, I'm like, let's go to part 2, and he's like, let's not.
I don't think the conversation quite went that way.
Well, it basically did. I was like, hey, you want to do level 2? You want to try level 2? And he's like,
I did not think you were all that anxious to do it.
Oh, I was. Because I wanted to hear you complain. Well, to be honest.
Well, besides, it was certainly the time of day in which to be able to start.
Yeah, we actually couldn't have started our part 2 then, but yes.
Yeah, we might have been able to get through one node or something.
Yeah, maybe. But and that was like the first time I've been in there since they overhauled it. I don't really know if I'm a big fan of what they've done, but okay. Well, I don't know. I didn't think it really needed change that much, but it's all right.
Yeah, I think they changed it a little bit more than I would have expected in there.
And speaking of RNG, didn't get the bow. Thank you very much.
Especially part 1. I think I can understand them doing part 2 as 5 separate dungeons, because they are 5 very different sections in there. So making that into one big into 5 different areas makes sense. Part 1, though, I don't think it really made all that much sense. And even if they did split it into 2 dungeons, I think they could have done it in a way that didn't require all that rigmarole of what they did. They made some changes in it that just didn't say, oh, why? But okay. Whatever. But anyway, so we did some Temple of Element and Evil stuff. And then I would say probably most of my time during the last week was spent in the other Standing Stone game. So I was doing a great deal still in that area. So what little time I had between some DDO and a great deal of the other game, I did spend in a board game app, the Minion board game app, and I was still spending a lot of time in there. And that's it for my week in gaming. We currently have 12 supporters on Patreon. If you feel like to help support DDO players, you can go to the donations page. You can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money will be used for podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. If you'd like to send us a comment, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows. On Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we record Loach Players News, and we record DDO Players News when Drac is available. You guys join us for our shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight, then. This is Piney Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.